A listener warning. Please be advised that this episode contains content that may be disturbing to some listeners, including descriptions of violence. Listener discretion is advised.
Life upon the wicked stage ain't ever what a girl supposes.
I'm Jen.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Olivia.
And we are, in fact, three different people.
This podcast focuses on true crime under the spotlight of arts and entertainment. So grab your beverage of choice and settle in.
Places, ladies.
Here's our episode. I'm so sorry. I'm typing really quickly. I had to do an audition this afternoon, and I'm making a note. Everybody, making a note
about her audition.
Yeah,
Making a note. I love it. I love it.
I just realized when I did this that I'm very Sarah Bernhardt with this robe.
Oh, look at you. You kind of
right?
match.
We kind of match.
is.
I am on muscle relaxers.
Yeah,
I
you
have
are.
a lidocaine patch on. So we'll
Feeling
see
good.
what comes out of my mouth this episode.
Ergo, the cozy robe.
The cozy robe. Olivia worked from
will
the
not
couch
be
today.
Olivia will not be drinking while on muscle relaxers.
No. Those days are long past where I'm like, I can experiment and just
I
see
can
how
do
I
both.
feel. Yeah. No,
As
no.
evidenced by today's topic, no, probably not. Like,
Probably don't do that. Yeah.
maybe make another choice. Maybe.
That's right.
Yeah.
And and on the topic of don't do drugs, Jen, where did we leave off?
When
With
we
our
last
Marilyn
left
Monroe
off,
story.
When we last Marilyn.
a cautionary tale question
Cautionary
mark?
tale. So on this, the day after Marilyn Monroe's 100th birthday, we are going to talk theories.
Theories.
We love a theory.
What
love a
even
theory.
happened?
What even happened? Exactly. What happened to Marilyn Monroe? That is the title of episode 2. So there we go. Look at that.
What even happened?
What even happened?
I reviewed some very troubling crime scene photos in the interim, and without spoiling anything, I'm just as confused as before. So
Yeah. Right? I know.
I have more questions than answers.
All right. Here we go. Marilyn Monroe spent her life being watched, photographed, desired, defined. But in death, she became something else entirely. A question. And depending on who you ask, the answer changes dramatically.
Dramatically.
What? Dramatically.
Dramatically on this
on this podcast?
podcast
Who knew?
drama.
So
I don't know what you mean.
I don't know what you're saying.
I'm just confused. Don't make me laugh. It makes my back spasm.
Oh.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you. You better take some more muscle relaxers because you're
Well, I
on
just
with
took one
us.
about 15 minutes ago, and it's my second one of the
gonna
day.
hit.
So I think you
All
guys are
right.
going to see the peak
can't
of that.
I
Yep.
can't wait.
We'll just put a little
keep it
thing in
coming.
the episode notes, like at minute 23 is when Olivia's
hits.
muscle relaxer really hits.
You can see her eyes glaze over. She starts drooling just a little bit.
She's like,
What's happening?
God.
So, was Marilyn Monroe the victim of tragic suicide, a fatal accidental overdose, medical negligence, or was it something darker? Today, we're going to examine those theories and, just as importantly, separate documented fact from speculation.
Yes.
When you say something darker, do you mean like supernatural darker?
I don't. I mean like
Oh.
murder.
Oh.
I think
Sorry,
she means
Olivia.
I think outside criminal activity.
Correct.
That kind of darker.
A
Got
third
it.
a third party administered.
I thought we needed to call in Sam and Dean, but I guess not.
I know. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that we can't.
It's kind of the one.
I mean,
thing this
anytime, but
Case, it's the one thing this case doesn't have is any sort of
Yeah.
supernatural activity. Never have I
Yeah.
ever seen an alien explanation for Marilyn Monroe's death.
no, that's true. They've been for others, but not for Marilyn.
Yeah, not on the bingo card for this one. So there's that.
There's that. So we're going to start with Donald Wolfe's theory, Act 1. So that's the book that I read, Last Days
Yes.
of Marilyn Monroe.
Yes.
And this is kind of one of the more influential books written about her death. And I think it was published in 98. So
It seems to Jen, from what you've described of your findings in this book, I have not read it myself, but it sounds like it was also extremely well researched from primary sources and like actual, like what if any documentation was available at that time.
Correct.
Not just, people's feelings.
Right. Not just because he did also write a book on the Black Dahlia. So throw back to that. It wasn't just like, my daddy's the Black Dahlia.
Oh my God.
Daddy was the Black Dahlia killer, so.
Never recover from him.
I never, ever. But, I was right there. Published in 1998. I didn't even look. That's funny.
Very good. Very good, Jen.
After more than 7 years of research, the book argues that Marilyn Monroe was not a suicide victim, but a homicide victim.
Ooh.
Wolfe believes that Marilyn's alleged relationships with John and Robert Kennedy placed her dangerously close to political power.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. We're out in the Kennedys today, guys. According to Wolfe's theory, they're not here. And the one that still is, his brain has been eaten by
a worm,
so it's fine.
He can't even lace his shoes. I'm
Right?
convinced. He's got the little Velcro shoe, probably.
Oh, I'm sure. Or it's like a stick-on lace, where it's like
slip-on.
a little bow. Yeah, he slips it on, and then he sticks the bow on top, and it looks like he tied it himself.
Like the Skechers slips. It looks like you laced it, but not really.
Listen,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, according to Wolfe's theory, Marilyn had become a liability. He suggested that she knew sensitive information involving the Kennedy administration, private affairs, and even possible organized crime connections, because there's a lot of speculation also about JFK and Robert Kennedy being very close to Frank Sinatra, who was very close to the mob.
But who
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Marilyn was also allegedly embroiled with very small circle there of a celebrity, and it's again talk about a dinner party to write about, but it's these people who were absolutely existing at the same time, but they were also running in the same sort of
circles.
Little weird social / underworld question mark.
Well, I think it's because the mob was in Hollywood at the time.
Yeah, everyone was running it basically.
Yeah. I mean, they might still be. I don't know, but
me neither.
TBD.
Well,
if only we knew someone we could ask. Anyway, I don't.
Anyway, but yeah, as we talked about in episode 1, Marilyn wanted to know what she was talking about with the Kennedys, so she took notes.
Right. Yeah, it was keeping almost a little log, not for incrimination, but for hey, I want to remember to ask you about that thing you mentioned, and I want to keep up with whatever's going on in your world. Correct.
So Wolfe's theory relies heavily on testimony from a person named John Minor. He was the deputy district attorney who attended Marilyn Monroe's autopsy.
Okay.
Oh.
Minor later stated that the toxicology evidence suggested that the drugs entered Monroe's system through the large intestine rather than oral ingestion.
Wait.
That is
I don't understand.
Significant.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. How does... Wait. So...
She's so confused.
And the meds haven't even kicked in yet. So wait, I'm just thinking.
I know.
So it gets
injection.
into your stomach without going into your mouth?
Injection. It was in her blood. Ding, somebody went, boop.
Somebody
Gave
injected
her. Yes.
So when you do injections, this would not be subcutaneous, because subcutaneous is in the skin level, and then it does go in your body, but it doesn't go through your stomach, I don't think. So if you do a real, a full-on injection into your bloodstream, does that go into your stomach?
I'm not a doctor, but I
Jen, the short answer is no, Olivia. That would, if it's something like that, it would show up in your kidneys and your liver, because that's
trying
what's
to clean it out.
Filtrating, your blood or other fluids in your system, but it wouldn't show up as matter in the stomach. To Jen's point, it would have something going through your intestines or ending up in your stomach would suggest to me it had gone in orally. The fact that you're injecting, I guess it's technically possible, but it seems like a bit of a reach to inject have to be a pretty good sized needle into your stomach itself. Can you do that? Yeah. That feels like a lot. I guess you could, but
and it'd be very painful.
So
you would notice. Like,
you would notice,
sure. But feels like a lot, and also it would still be like liquefied. Like, was there any evidence that was like, what was this in her like stomach contents? Like, do they have that?
No, I don't have that. But there's also a lot of things missing from Marilyn Monroe's autopsy.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh.
But basically, he was saying that the Nembutal, or Nembutal, I don't know how you say it.
Nembutal, okay.
Was administered by Enema.
Oh. Well, that is very different because that means you received it rectally.
And you let me just go down that rabbit hole of, but if you stick a needle
sometimes
in your
I can't
arm,
stop
does it go
you.
in
So.
your...
Well, but it's interesting though to bring up a dark point, but things file under Ashley's horrifying medical trivia. You can give medication to someone who is already either like incapacitated or having trouble swallowing, like someone who's very elderly or someone like near the end of life. This is often done with people on hospice to give them like painkillers at the end of life, and they will administer the medication rectally because the uptake is actually faster even than if you take it orally. So it sounds super icky and weird, but this is actually a thing medically that is very common.
Also,
and it is done.
Something that was, I think, happening in the 90s, and I don't know if maybe it was happening in other eras too, but I just remember being in college and hearing about this. If you, and this trigger warning, this is about to get female genitalia specific.
Okay.
If you soak a tampon in
I've heard
vodka
Yes.
and insert it, you get drunk immediately and also can die of alcohol poisoning because it is so intense the way it goes into your bloodstream.
I've heard of that,
Because your tissue in those regions is thinner and it is closer to your blood vessels, blood stream. So yes. Short answer is yes. Yeah.
So that's what John Miner talks about, is that the tissues of the large intestine reacted to the trauma of exposure of the poisonous substance it was inflamed. And that produced congestion and a marked purple color, like on her skin, and her fingernails. That congestion and purple color were in evidence when the body was opened at the autopsy. I'm so sorry. So the congestion and the purple color were in the large intestine, but her fingernails were also blue. So when he opened her up,
well,
that's what he saw.
The fingernails being blue too, that can also suggest
lack of oxygen, right?
Hypoxia. Yeah,
yes.
Like she
Correct.
was basically stopped breathing. And then your skin and or nails can begin to turn blue, and depending on when you're examined in that process, that tracks.
Yeah. So this, not theory, but this, what John Miner said kind of became the central point of Wolfe's theory, and he kind of went from there, right? Wolfe also questioned the disappearance of certain organ samples from the coroner's office, so things disappeared.
Really?
And according to his interpretation, powerful figures had reasons to quickly settle on a probable suicide narrative.
So I'm going to try to work in the aliens theory because I think it's not cool that there's not one, because there's one for
Olivia.
Elvis. So I'm thinking, what if the aliens took some organ samples,
For what purpose?
The most beautiful woman in the world. They wanted to like
icon
emulate
on their planet as well.
Probably.
Duh, you guys, to create hybrids. Jeez. It's like you don't know anything about the alien
No,
lore.
we don't.
Incredible.
So, before we can really understand, however, the Kennedy theory, as we are going to get into, we need to talk about a person named Peter Lawford.
Yes.
Peter Lawford was an actor, a member of the Rat Pack, and through his marriage to Patricia Kennedy, brother-in-law to both President John F. Kennedy and Attorney General Robert Kennedy.
Ooh, now I didn't know he married a Kennedy.
Peter Lawford, he was in Little Women in 1949.
He was, yeah. So
among other things.
I know, among many other things. So if Marilyn kind of existed at the intersection of Hollywood and political power, because she did, then Peter Lawford was the bridge between those two worlds. He was around a lot. His wife was around a lot. And on the night Marilyn died, Lawford became one of the last known people to speak with her.
Because you said last week, Jen, last
episode.
Last episode, thank you. That there was documentation that they had a phone conversation earlier that night.
Yes.
And do we know, or do we have verified what the nature of that discussion
Yes.
was? Okay.
Right
I
here.
want to see if it's
All
what
right.
I've heard through that other. Yeah, it's probably the same thing. Go ahead.
According to Lawford, Marilyn sounded heavily sedated during her phone call. He later claimed she said goodbye to him, goodbye to Pat, and goodbye to the president. That's what he told everybody.
Like that she was essentially doing the like some people do before they unalive themselves, like I'm saying my goodbyes and like, tell so-and-so
Yes.
I love them kind of thing.
However, and
Interesting.
I think we'll get into it more. We will get into it more. There were lots of talks. There were fights. There were things that had happened. And this goodbye felt more like I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Goodbye. Not I'm dying. Goodbye.
Oh, interesting. I'm severing ties.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
So I also heard, and I don't want to steal the thunder of the theories, that the conversation between her and Peter was actually about Robert Kennedy, and that she was going to expose him. We talked about this a little bit last time.
We will.
And that
Yeah,
he
and-
told Robert, and then Robert was in LA, and that Robert may have came over and done something or asked someone to do something.
Potentially. So we're going to get into it.
Okay.
So whether or not those were actually some of her final words remains heavily debated. But after her death, Peter Lawson's role becomes central to many of the theories that followed.
Sure.
So not just this one. So according to Donald Wolfe, the author of this book, Lawford wasn't necessarily covering up a murder. Instead, Wolfe believes he became part of an effort to contain the fallout surrounding Marilyn's death and any potential connection to the Kennedy family.
Sure.
So he didn't go over to kill her or even maybe to have her killed. He was just
Like
saving the
image.
ass of the Kennedys.
Image management.
Yeah.
Well, and we've seen that before in so many true crime cases in general, and even cases I think that we've speculated about that are unsolved, but that sometimes it's like what we maybe conflate or initially conflate as being evidence of maybe someone's involvement or even evidence in the case, it actually ends up being a red herring, because it's like, well, yes, I see how that got there or how that happened or how this person may seem implicated, but it actually had nothing to do with the crime. It was happening at the same time, but it was because of something where it's like, oh no, don't let them find, I don't know, whatever.
Right.
So I'm going to go and clean up the crime scene because I don't want them to know about my gambling debt. And it was like, okay, cool. You're doing self-preservation, but it's also like bungling the investigation because now it's clouded with all these other details or someone's involvement that actually may not have anything to do with the case, but we don't know. And you're not going to tell us one way or the other because you're covering your butt.
Yep. You're covering your ass.
It's just like communism.
Just like communism.
Communism was a red herring.
Red herring. Yeah.
Clue.
I love it.
No, Mr. Green, communism is just a red herring.
Mrs. Peacock's a man. That's my favorite line.
I know. 2 + 2 + 1 + 2. Anyway,
2 plus 2 plus 1.
it's one of my favorite movies.
1 + 2 + 2 + 1.
Yep. There's also, and I realize this, obviously when we're doing anything with theories, is that when you have, here's what happened, it's like a maze, right? You go from the end to the beginning, you're going to find your way there easier than the other way around.
Sure.
So when you have a theory, you're looking for specific things.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's not potentially true. So here we go. So this is where the timeline starts becoming even more complicated. I know, right? Pause for effect.
So we're just getting started.
I know, we're just getting started.
started.
Because no figure illustrates the problem of shifting stories more than Marilyn's housekeeper, Eunice Murray. Her story changed more than anyone else's. Eunice. She was one of the first people connected to the discovery of Marilyn's body.
So, Olivia, you asked this question on our last episode, and in my search of crime scene photos, I answered this. You said, was she a live-in? And the answer was yes.
Yeah.
But not only was she a live-in, Marilyn's house at this time, for those who are uninitiated or have not seen the floor plan, very small. This is not a large
small
house.
Yeah.
Quite a small house with a detached garage and a detached like little guest cottage.
Little
so
cottage.
Again, like the house, not very large. And importantly, Eunice's bedroom and Marilyn's bedroom shared a wall. They abutted one another. And there was like this little hallway that you would go into, and then both bedroom doors were off this little tiny hallway. So not only was Eunice living there, she was right there.
He was right beside her. Yeah.
She was right there, which was interesting. And then, Jen, to your point last week about the phone cord.
Yes.
On the floor plan I found, there is another room that is diagonally across this little hall that is labeled the phone room.
Phone room. It's the
I'm
phone room.
assuming this was maybe just like another bedroom that was in the house.
Yeah.
But it's labeled on the floor plan as the phone room. So I can see how, to your point, Jen, this cord was like in the hall, but also Eunice was seeing it because it's right there in front of her bedroom door.
Let me step over this to get to my bedroom.
Right.
Yeah.
So like you're not talking in the phone room. You have taken the phone to your bedroom. And it's like literally obstructing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was a typical thing for Marilyn. She would take her phone into her bedroom. She didn't like to be alone. She wanted to talk to people, and she would talk to them. She'd call them late, just to kind of hear somebody's voice.
Remind me what time of night, or was it early morning, that her body was discovered?
Early morning.
Early morning.
4 a.m., I think,
4
something
a.m.
like that.
Okay.
I think. No, I can't remember. I have it somewhere.
Okay, I was just curious because if the maid, what if someone, could be human, could be alien, I don't know, but what if someone bribed the maid to leave the house?
So like she said she was there, but she wasn't.
But she wasn't there, and they said come back after 3 a.m. or something.
3 a.m. is when she found it.
Okay.
Found Marilyn.
See,
So,
it's like it's writing
I knew
itself.
it was like around 3 or 4. Yeah, approximately
Yeah.
3 a.m. Murray noticed that Monroe had locked herself in her bedroom and appeared unresponsive when she looked inside through a window. That's when she alerted the doctors, Greenson, who arrived soon after, and he broke the window to get in and found Marilyn dead.
Yeah, what if somebody paid her off to get out of the house, or threatened her life to get out of the house and say, don't come back for 3 hours.
Yeah. And
then by the time she comes back, she looks in the room, sees that she's probably dead. And that's why her story changes so much, because she actually, I'm totally making this up, but I could see that happening. And then she can't.
There's talk of that being the case. Like that, that it's basically this whole, and we're going to get into all the little pieces of it. But basically, this whole theory revolves around the fact that it's a cover up, and that there are a lot of people involved in the cover up, and Eunice is one of them, and that's why her story keeps changing.
Got it.
Yeah.
Eunice Murray is, for the record, at the time, Eunice Murray was 60 years old.
Yeah, she was older, a little bit older.
This is not a young woman,
not a young chick.
At the time, just for the record, it looks like, just real quick, she lived until 1994. She lived to be 92 years old. Just a interesting little tidbit there. But just a quick goog. It also said, and Jen, maybe this is part of what you're about to unpack, but in addition to being a housekeeper, she was also a nurse.
Oh, actually, I didn't know that.
Oh,
that didn't come up anywhere.
It
Interesting.
says she's a nurse.
Wait,
so
she's a nurse that
into Eunice.
Could perhaps administer certain drugs.
At least knew her way around said medication, probably, if she was also a nurse in addition to being a housekeeper. Just wanted to flag.
Thank you.
Wanted to flag that about Eunice. Neither here nor there, but just throwing that out there.
Very cool.
And
yes, thank you for that.
I always find it interesting in these stories that we tell, and even the ones that have nothing to do with our pod, just like the crime stories. As people get older, just like in the Gardner heist, as people get older, I think a lot of times, like the FBI and the police think there's going to be a deathbed confession. You know what I mean? And something's happening to Ashley right now.
I know. What is it, Ashley? What is it? What is it?
I'm so sorry. I have to interject, Olivia. I I'm just going to read this verbatim.
Do it.
Before working for Marilyn Monroe, little was publicly documented about her career, meaning Eunice. It is believed she trained as a psychiatric nurse.
No, I did know that.
She was working in Santa Monica with California-based psychoanalyst Dr. Ralph Greenson.
I did know that. Yes, they knew each other. Yes.
What?
He hired her.
Wait a minute.
He hired her in November of 61 specifically to be a stabilizing presence for
Marilyn.
Marilyn.
That's right.
This is
So
like-
he's like, this
Yes.
lady needs a housekeeper, but also
someone to keep an eye on her.
About psychiatric medicine and pills. So she sure was there.
Thank
also
you.
in a
This
low
is-
key nursing capacity. Oh, the plot thickens.
The plot
It's like
thickens.
it's like Agatha Christie all of a sudden.
Kind of, right? Yeah, they all did it.
But I think it's interesting when someone lived to be 94, let's say, right? She lived to be 94, and everybody else around that had anything to do with this story is now dead. Why not tell the truth? Why not just come out and say, "Here's what
Anything.
happened. I'm on my way out, and I'm gonna solve this mystery for everybody."
Well, I think for me, the biggest, if something happened, which it is very suspicious, the Kennedys are still a really powerful family and they're still around. And if it had anything to do with them.
And she had 3 children.
Okay,
so
that's fair.
There's also I'm on
Gotta
my way
protect
out,
them.
but also
But they're
I
going to
still
be
have
here. You better
family.
keep your mouth shut, Eunice, so your kids are going to pay for it.
I mean, you never know, but
Yeah.
or was it was it financial where it was like, hey, we will give you or give your family some amount of money for your silence, and that is conditional upon your silence. So
And she was a nurse. I mean, what if she was the one that administered the drugs? Are you gonna confess that?
Well,
Even when you're going out? Because it's Marilyn
Yeah.
Monroe, which means you're going to be the
Yeah.
villain for the rest of the existence of the world.
Well, and we have the template of what was it, like Elvis's doctor? It was
Yeah.
he was like this idiot,
Yeah. Yeah.
around the
So-
same, not too many years later. I'm just
And
thinking
Michael
out
Jackson's
loud.
doctor
Michael Jackson's doctor.
was
Exactly.
prosecuted for the administration of his
Yeah,
whatever it was, propofol or whatever put him to sleep.
so many drugs.
So many options.
So many options. Well, Jen, that's very interesting about so that she also 911 wasn't a thing, but she did not call
right.
the police initially. She called the doctor and the
doctor.
psychiatrist.
So the one that she used to work for.
Right. So she called in basically her like the personal team first, and it seems like there was obviously it took them a minute to get there. Which is like, hey, something's wrong. Because then to your point, it's like if she saw her initially, like this started around 3, and then the police weren't actually called until what was it, like almost like 4:30, I think. So it was like that's
There was also
fair chunk of time.
There was also an
before
ambulance called.
before law enforcement showed up.
We're going to get into that too because, again, lots of things, right?
Lots of things.
So when it comes to Eunice's story, the timing changed consistently. The sequence of events changed. And even decades later, researchers are still comparing different versions of her account because they've been different. So to a lot of people, some people, these inconsistencies suggest that something was hidden. To others, and rightfully so, they reflect confusion and trauma of a chaotic night that became international news immediately.
When you say, Jen, inconsistencies, are we talking about like small things like who you called first, or are we talking about like time shifts, like
Big
moving
time
by
shifts,
hours?
like
Okay.
hours time shifts.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And who was there and who wasn't there.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a little trickier.
Yeah. Yes, a little bit, maybe an
little
hour or a half an hour here and there, like sure. But no, big ones. Also, I said this in the first episode, like there was a whole thing that she was, why are you awake at 3 a.m. doing laundry? Like,
Oh,
that's
right,
weird.
the overnight laundry. And she was found
Yeah.
naked. That actually stuck out to me last time. Like, was she laundering the clothes Marilyn had been wearing?
Well, exactly, right? We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know. But I can also make the case just sort of as an on-brand thing. I can also easily get on board with like, no, that's how she slept. Like
yeah,
she,
I can see her doing that.
That was her being, that was her being comfortable. Very good.
So when it comes to Eunice, her changing statements became one of the biggest reasons that people continue to question the official timeline.
What even happened?
But there's another detail that complicates things even further. So shortly before her death, and we talked about this a little in the last episode, Marilyn had reportedly spoken to Joe DiMaggio Jr., the son of her ex-husband, Joe DiMaggio. According to later accounts, nothing about the conversation sounded alarming or suicidal.
Sure. It was very like normal, run of the mill, nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Yeah. Marilyn didn't like the girl that he was dating, but otherwise, everything was fine.
Does that mean that he maybe was not in on the cover up? Because he wasn't.
Well, he was in like across the country in New York. They don't know everybody she speaks to.
Sure.
Although her phones were tapped at one point, and we'll get into that as well.
Of course they were.
But this is one of those, it's like a loose string, right? They didn't, if it was a cover up, they didn't cover all the way up, but they didn't know that they were talking. So that creates a very big contrast. And I believe the timing was somewhere around like 7:30 is when Peter Lawford said he spoke with her. And then DiMaggio, it was like 9:30. And he was like, she was fine. And Lawford said, she called, goodbye to you, goodbye to Pat, goodbye to the president. And then she like trailed off and like she died on the phone or fell asleep on the phone.
Well, and to support that detail, if you will, she was found with the phone in her hand.
Correct.
So
staged?
Right.
Maybe?
Yeah. Staged, or like, was she on the phone and did in fact like drift off? Was she planning to call someone? Was she going to call for help?
Right.
We don't know.
So, obviously this creates a contrast on the phone. Marilyn supposedly sounded totally natural to DiMaggio, but Peter Lawford said she sounded heavily sedated. And somewhere
what time was the Lawford call?
The Lawford call was like 7:30, I believe, and then DiMaggio was later. And the timing of the call, I mean, they could look at her phone record, so that was
right. They could prove it.
Yeah.
They you know what? They probably thought Peter would have been the last one to ever talk to her when they set this whole thing up, and so he could spin whatever tale. They didn't expect there would be an actual late night phone call from someone else who could come out and say, no, that's
Yeah. So, somewhere between those conversations, so like those 2.5, 3 hours is where one of the biggest mysteries of her final hours kind of lies. So when LAPD Sergeant Jack Clemmons arrived at the house in the early morning hours of August 5th, so around like 4:30, I think.
4:30, yeah.
He later said the scene immediately struck him as unusual. And we talked about this a little in the first episode because we talked about the bottles, the neat bottles. And I did a little bit more digging yesterday to kind of say what maybe he meant by that.
Yeah.
Because he did say it.
Yeah, define neat.
Yes. So, because I was like, the whole room doesn't look neat. So, because he said the room appeared too tidy and pill bottles were arranged neatly. I was like, but it doesn't look too tidy. There's 100% a lot of shit going on.
It doesn't
on
look
the
tidy.
nightstand.
That's so weird to me. Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe, I can deeply relate because Marilyn Monroe, like me, was a piler.
Yeah.
It's like,
yes.
it's not
piles.
trash. It's like,
right.
It's like, these are things I need.
That's right.
But I haven't put them away and they're just like in a little pile. Like,
and they're in a pile. And they're in a pile, and they could be in a pile for 4 to 6 weeks, but they're in a pile.
And
then if
Those
things start
are my
getting
piles.
messy again, you just pile them back up because then
Those
it
are
makes
my
it look
piles.
neater. Yeah,
It sure does.
Exactly.
It sure does. And I know what's in the pile. Like I
right.
know.
Yeah,
like,
and if
what
I
we need.
move it, I'll never find it.
I'm not going to know where it is.
I related significantly to some of the quote clutter that was seen in these photos. And I will push back. I'm going to go on record and push back and say that those pill bottles were neatly arranged. They're upright. They are upright. They're not like, I flung them down.
I think that's kind of what, and I wrote it later, but basically when I dug a little bit, it wasn't that things, it's like somebody putting all of what they're feeling into a word He didn't feel right about the scene. There was something about it that made him feel off. So he said the room looked neat. Maybe because other rooms he's been in, that people that died by suicide didn't look neat, you know?
Or maybe he meant there was no signs of a struggle.
Right.
You know?
So, but the biggest thing was that he just had an overall discomfort. With this. It was his gut.
And I think there's a lot to be said for a seasoned officer in somewhere like LA to say, I've been at a lot of scenes. Like, it's not like it's baby's first death.
Right.
And
it's LA. It's like in the 60s.
Yeah, like you've been to other scenes, I'm sure, of even like, you know, homicide's more violent than this. But if you and your experience are looking at something and go, I can't put my finger on it, but something's just not quite right, I think there's something to be said for that. To me, and maybe this is jumping ahead slightly, Jen, but looking at the photos, like the uncensored ones, the most off thing to me about the whole room is her posture.
Being dead.
Oh, well, no, her body,
the way she's laying,
the way she is laying. I'm like, that to me is the one that's going, oh God, like that's different.
That's different. Yes. And we're going to talk about that a little bit because two of the most discussed details from that scene are what Sergeant Jack Clemmons later called Marilyn's soldier position.
Yeah.
That's what he called it. And the broken bedroom window. Those are the two things that really bring a lot into question. So according to Clemmons, Marilyn's body appeared unusually composed, lying straight on the bed in a way he felt looked almost staged, combined with what he thought was a neat arrangement of pill bottles, all standing up straight, right? Not knocked over. It kind of contributed to his overall discomfort of the scene. But yeah, the body position is a big thing. Now, obviously, it's important to note that like body positions, not forensic proof of homicide, and overdose victims can be found in many different positions depending on timing, sedation, and what happened.
No, but there's
before, but
you're right. It's not maybe the smoking gun in and of itself. And at the same time, I think there's also, it's one of those, it's not.
Right.
How do I phrase this? There are things that people do naturally, and there are things where it's like you had to work to do that.
Your body would not get into that pose
without some sort of
manipulation.
Yes. Other big like Hollywood mystery, George Reeves. The fact that when he, the way he fell on the bed was very unnatural.
And it's like, how would you,
how would you do that? Like, how did you,
And the fact that it's like, well, you were shot, so you tilted your head at a 90-degree angle.
That's
like,
weird.
Sideways.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not, it's not impossible, but that is not
highly
typical.
Unlikely.
So, Jen, describe for those who don't want to search for these photos, but describe exactly what this soldier's pose is, because I feel like you sort of have to understand too just how atypical this is for someone to not even to sleep. Just like, I can't think of a situation where I would lay like this for any reason other than maybe to get a massage. Maybe, but so not with the phone in my hand.
That's the best way to say it. Yeah, maybe to get a massage. She was basically laying in bed naked, covered like halfway up, and her face was just like either planted fully or it was turned to one side.
It
looks
like
it's turned a little to one side,
turned slightly,
and her hands are like
very uncomfortable
under the covers.
Yeah,
right
now
under the sheet.
Is there any talk about did anyone before the cops arrived, cover her? Was she fully splayed out and the maid covered her?
There's no talk about that.
There's no talk about that. Okay.
But so she's on her stomach.
Yeah.
Her head is maybe turned a little bit, and I think that specifically the soldier part, both arms, left and right, like her legs are basically together, and her arms are almost completely straight to her sides.
Right,
like she's like
standing at attention.
Except she is laying down unconscious, and the phone is in her hand, but it's at her side under the covers sheet.
It's very odd. Why would if you trailed off?
Right, if you were talking to someone, or if you're even like holding the phone
to your head,
you've gotten it all the way down to your side, and it's straight, but it's still in your hand. You didn't drop the phone.
You drop it.
I think somebody wanted it to click together that Peter talked to her and she died right then on the phone. When she trailed off, it was her dying. Sure. That's what they wanted it to look like. Not knowing there's this other piece of the puzzle. Good old Joe DiMaggio. Yeah. Who ruined the whole thing.
Well, good for him.
Yep.
But it's exactly what you said, Ashley. It's when you get under the covers at the masseuse and they're like, I'll knock before I come back in. And you like get under the covers and your arms are down by your side and you're all covered up. That's exactly what it is.
It's precisely that without the face cradle. Yeah.
Right.
That is the vibe of,
which is why I probably turned to slightly to one side, because there's no face cradle.
And to your point about the masseuse, it's like, yeah, you can get the sheet up over yourself like that, but you also have to kind of like work to get into.
You have to like wiggle
position.
into it. Yeah,
you have to sort of like, you're like on your stomach and you sort of like
hold
baby it. You like baby seal it and you kind of like pull it up and then you move your hands down and it's like a whole little.
Your hands plural because she had the phone in another hand. Like how did she get under those covers like that?
But I'm just saying this takes work, and if you are, let's say, even accidentally overdosing on sedatives,
right,
it just like you would basically already have to be in that position before your body started to shut down. So why are you laying like that? Like,
and you couldn't be talking on the phone while your body's shutting down if your phone is down by the side.
Yeah,
yes, it's hard.
That's the big one that has always struck me as odd. And then looking at these photos again yesterday, I was like, that seems like a something. Mm-hmm. That seems like something.
Seems like a something, yeah. Mm-hmm. So we have the soldier's position, and then we also have the broken window. Dr. Ralph Greenson claimed that he broke the bedroom window to enter Marilyn's room after she stopped responding. So Eunice was like, she's not responding, come over. He comes over, tries to wake her up, whatever, it doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. He breaks the window. But over the years, some researchers have questioned whether the glass and damage fully matched that explanation.
Did he break the pane as well, or just like jimmy it?
No, he broke the glass to get in.
Okay.
But there's a lot of talk of there's glass on the outside. Like somebody broke it from the inside.
Which would be strange, because if you break it from the outside, all the glass should go to the inside. Maybe some on the windowsill, but not outside.
So that's kind of where that is, yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird little maneuver.
If you punched it in with, did he use a thing? Did they say how he broke it? No. I was thinking like if you used like
he's like,
an item and then yanked the item back out.
Sure.
Like a crowbar.
Let's say he had like his doctor's bag because he was making a house visit and he did that and it pulled back out. Sure, maybe. But it's still a little odd. It doesn't quite fit with the story.
No.
Doesn't,
no, you're right.
It just doesn't quite fit.
I mean, the forensics of glass breaking, I can make the case depending on like how much force and what you hit it with. I can see glass being on both sides.
Yes, sure.
Like some fell this way and some fell that way.
Physics.
But was it? There wasn't only glass on the outside, right?
No,
it was on. Both sides?
It was in both places, but there was more on the outside than they believed there should be.
Okay.
So. Again, none of this conclusively proves foul play, and Clemmons never officially declared the case a homicide, but he did openly question aspects of the scene for years afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, where's Columbo when you need him,
Right?
He would have figured this out in 3 hours.
Where's Columbo?
Hey friends, Jen here, and we hope you're enjoying this episode of Life Upon the Wicked Stage. Just a few quick reminders. If you're looking for any of the visuals that we've mentioned in this or any episode of the podcast, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Wicked Stage Pod or Facebook at Life Upon the Wicked Stage. If you want more, please join our Patreon by searching the Wicked Stage Podcast. There you'll find ad-free episodes, videos of our recordings, mini-sodes, behind-the-scenes content, giveaways, and so much more. And the most important side note, if you like the show, please give us a nice rating wherever you listen. It sounds silly, but it's still the best way to get the word out and support us in this crazy podcast world. Well, lights are blinking, intermission's over, so grab those snacks and another drink and enjoy the rest of the show.
I will say, going back to the floor plan real quick of this house, the window in question is in the front of the house that faces the street.
Okay.
So not saying it's impossible that was an access point. I'm just saying whoever did this, and if it's in the wee hours of the middle of the night,
the morning,
who's to say, and who knows how busy that street even was. But I will flag, this is in the front of the house.
Okay.
It is facing the road. So if you are just standing at the driveway going, Marilyn's house, this window is completely visible. Ergo, if it's you would run the risk of someone seeing you standing there being like, we either coming or going.
Yeah.
The window. It's there's also, there were, I guess my point is, there are other windows in the house that they could have entered or exited from. If this was truly a, we're going to sneak in surreptitiously. It was you could have gone through the window in the dining room.
Well, Marilyn's door was locked.
Yeah. And so the only way in was that one window, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a locked door mystery.
We have a locked door. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. No, well, that's
the door was
that
locked.
is key then. Okay. Well, my note about the placement of the window stands, but yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then I spoke about this a second ago, but one of the other really strange aspects is that Eunice is doing laundry at nearly 5 o'clock in the morning. It's a little weird.
Never have I ever.
Yeah.
Never have I ever.
So all of those observations became part of the reason so many theories surrounding Marilyn Monroe's death have refused to disappear. So I will go through kind of this important distinction. This is, Wolfe's interpretation of events. I mean, after 7 years of research, but it is his theory. So it's not established historic fact, even though it is a nonfiction book. But there are major critics out there that point out a lot of weaknesses. One of them, biographer Evan Thomas, used archival material to argue that Robert F. Kennedy was in San Francisco the night Monroe died.
Right.
But there's also talk that he was in LA.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
It was like a peephole to Robert Durst.
Yeah, kind of.
He drove in and drove out, had somebody kind of alibi him out that he was really in San Francisco the whole time.
The Attorney General, for God's sake. He could do whatever he wanted.
That is a hike, but it is doable if you have enough time.
Yeah.
That would take several hours, but could you do it? Yes. Not quickly, but you could.
I think there was I wish I could remember if this was a documentary or if it was an article I read. I wish but where I'm getting the Kennedy theory from is said that.
Oh, it's all over the place.
Yeah. I think that the thought is that he came in earlier that day. He was in town that day to visit some friends or something. And then Marilyn started a ruckus with, if you don't, if you break up with me, I'm going to tell everybody.
Yes.
And so
they did have a fight that day. It's just whether or not it was in person or on the phone.
He admitted to the fight, but he said it was on the phone.
Yes. But there was a fight. He was breaking it off, and she didn't want it to be broken off.
She wanted someone to choose her.
And she was very upset, and so that did happen that day. But whether it was in person or not,
interesting,
is one of those things that is kind of shrouded in mystery because they're the Kennedys. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office conducted a lengthy review in 1982 and found no conclusive evidence of homicide. But that was a long time afterwards, and forensics. But it's important to note, but even people who reject Wolfe's murder conclusion in theory often acknowledge that the case contains inconsistencies. That was hard to say. I'm going to say it again.
Contains inconsistencies.
The case contains inconsistencies. Who wrote this? That continue raising questions.
Vocal warm-up. The case
continues inconsistencies.
Olivia can't do it.
I can't even remember it. The case, what is it?
Contains
The case
inconsistencies.
contains inconsistencies.
The case contains inconsistencies. The case contains inconsistencies.
Listen, if they don't do this to warm up on deadline, like, what are you even doing? What are you even doing?
Very good.
So, Act 2, we're going to go into claims versus facts.
Okay.
Because again, I think we can theorize forever and ever, and I will say right now, I don't believe she unalived herself. I think someone else did it.
Minimally accident ? But certainly not intentional is what you think, Jen?
Right.
But I still think it's important that we know what we really know for sure and what has kind of been part of the legend. So
Totally. Yeah.
here we go. Fact. The toxicology report found lethal levels of nambutol and chloral hydrate. Fact.
Yes.
Fact. These drugs are dangerous together.
Sure are.
Uh-oh.
Fact. The case contains inconsistencies
That's a good one.
in witness timelines. That's a fact. Another fact. Sergeant Jack Clemmons later expressed discomfort with aspects of the scene. So he talked about it. He didn't like it. Now, here are some claims that have not been proven, but that doesn't mean they're not true. Here we go. Claim number 1. Robert F. Kennedy was president. No, he wasn't. They wanted him to be. Robert F. Kennedy was present at Marilyn Monroe's house shortly before her death.
Yes.
The reality of this is that it's heavily disputed still, but a lot of researchers support the possibility.
Possible, yes. Yeah. Proven, no.
No, because others argued that there are records placing him in San Francisco. So
he was at a rally.
Yeah. Claim Marilyn Monroe was murdered as part of a political cover-up. Reality, there's no conclusive evidence that has ever proven this. Okay. Claim the scene was staged, which we talked a lot about just a second ago with that body position. The reality is that some observations appear very unusual, and they do. But unusual doesn't automatically equal homicide. I still think that position is weird.
Yeah.
So, we're going to get into some more theories.
I think, too, some of this maybe also remains a mystery because even forensically, the way we now would process a scene like this, or the way evidence is gathered and what is or isn't understood to be important at the time, so many things that I think even just about the scene itself, that if this happened today, it would just be handled so differently forensically. And the fact that there are only 4 or 5 photos of the scene, I'm like, oh God, just so many things where it's like, this is unfortunately, I think, just lost to time, or something about the body position where it's like, well, did you fingerprint this? Did you look at this? And I think there was maybe a, I won't say a rush to judgment, but it was also it wasn't like she was found shot and they're like, oh my God, obviously foul play. So I think that also leaves the door open for suicide, accident, murder, because it is, murky when you have something that's like, well, this could be an overdose or someone could have done this, but they just sort of jump to oh, well, guess she's, dead. Well, she must have killed herself, nothing to see here. You didn't gather any evidence that would even allow for the later exploration of some of these things forensically. So we can't say were there fingerprints on the window? Were there fingerprints on the pill bottles? They didn't gather that. No one checked that. And I'm sure they didn't save any of that. It's yep, clean it on up, get it out of here. And we don't know. And something like that where it's you're right, the body position alone, maybe that did or didn't mean anything, but in combination with other circumstantial evidence or other sort of forensic or environmental factors that we just don't know or we don't have documented that could have impacted things like that. It's taken by itself, you're right, it doesn't necessarily mean everything, but taken with some of these other things it could, but we won't know.
Right, exactly. And the toxicology report.
Her toxicology, though, I did read it at one point recently that two things to just kind of flag that her levels of all of this were well above what would have been a lethal limit.
Yes,
like
very
it wasn't
high.
like just tipped it a little bit. It was like, oh no, you are this. If someone did this, it's like on purpose to her.
Right.
It was overkill because my goodness, that was a lot. But I also then read subsequently in my just Google about like, what are these drugs? And the first thing I got was like a little message of like, if you or someone is like experiencing like, addiction, please call. Call. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. But the two main medications she was on, they basically they're what's called they stack. Meaning they impact each other, and also so it's like what you said, Jen, they're dangerous in combination with each other, but then they can also exponentially activate the other. And it's also one of those like we were talking about in the Jerry Lee Lewis episode with did his wife with the methamphetamine. It is suppresses consciousness, but also your respiration. So it's like, in theory, yes, like those alone, like maybe something did happen, like accidentally, it's possible. But my goodness, it seems like an awful lot.
An overkill.
So we're going to get into some other theories now. Theory number 1, medical negligence, since we were just talking about the pills. So this is kind of one of the most grounded explanations of the whole thing. Dr. Ralph Greenson and Dr. Hyman Engelberg were both prescribing medications to Marilyn Monroe. According to some accounts, they were not fully coordinating with each other. So researchers point to the dangerous interaction between the two pills, the chloral hydrate and the Nembutal.
That's what I just said about
stacking. What you just said. Some people believe that Marilyn's death may have been resulted not from intent, but from
accidentally mixing.
Medical failure. Yeah.
One doctor has prescribed you a medication so you can sleep. Another doctor has prescribed you this medication that suppresses your respiration. Coma plus stops breathing.
Yeah.
Whoops-a-daisy. Like,
whoops-a-daisies. Yeah. Right.
Not good.
Yeah. Theory number 2, accidental overdose. So biographer Donald Spoto proposed that Monroe died accidentally after receiving a chloral hydrate enema without realizing how much Nembutal was already in her system. Like, that to me is a theory that is trying to be very grounded, working around the fact that they didn't find it in her stomach, they found it in her intestine.
The only thing that I can think of that's like, why would you do this? Again, seems like a lot of work. But I think it would account for maybe how she was laying.
That's true, because it would go boom, right like that, right?
Well, it would account for how you're laying.
That's how you would get it.
You would need to be like that. But I think also the other...
but I probably wouldn't be on the phone when it was happening, so...
Probably not. Yeah, the phone is weird. The phone's a weird choice.
People get their kicks in all kinds of ways, though.
I'm not going to yuck your yum. Sorry.
What are you up to? It's like, I can't tell you. No, I was going to say, I read something else, Jen, just sort of with regard to her medical history in the last, I'd say like 5 years of her life, that she had sort of had a series of, I'll say like vague ailments, but one of them was like stomach pain and sort of like upset stomach. And some of that was argued that it was gastrointestinal issues, and it was because of some of the medications she had been taking. So I wonder if there was something like, if you have been taking some of these medications long term and they have done a number on your stomach, if you're like, hey, if I take this orally, my stomach gets upset and I feel like shit, but if I take it rectally,
the other way,
it doesn't.
That's that. Yeah, sure.
Because when you are on hospice, sometimes if it is like messing up your stomach, or you have certain things where it's like you can't take it orally, or it won't like make it to your stomach, like your digestion is somehow ingestion is somehow impaired, or like your pain medication rectally because your stomach has been compromised.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
But also, like, if she had just been doing that on her own and then she had overdosed, it would have all been there unless someone came in and like cleaned it up. So it's like if it happened
Right.
and then she was, you know, her nurse was like, okay, like, you know, like bye, like I'll like, you know, see you in a bit, and then like
this is
shut
like
the door.
really gross, but if you're gonna give yourself an enema, you're not laying down on your stomach to do it.
Okay.
You're usually sitting on either the toilet or like laying flat on your stomach and putting your arm around back. That would be very uncomfortable.
I mean, it also this again is such a. This is not the conversation you signed on for. We thought it was going to be all sexy. And
Everybody's like, why are they talking about shit?
why are you talking about this? No, but I'll just say to Olivia, depending on the purpose of the situation, it can also like affect your posture. It's like, are you like cleaning out the vicinity versus are you trying to keep something in?
Evacuate is the term that's used
Thank
on
you.
the instructions.
Oh,
Are
well, there
you-
you go.
Are you evacuating
Are you trying
the
to
region,
evacuate?
or are you trying to infuse something because that would affect, like, do you want it to just go like, wee and like flush it out, or do you want it to stay in there and like seep in? What is the goal, and therefore what is the posture based on?
What is the goal of your enema? We need to sit down and make a vision board. What is it you hope your enema accomplishes today?
Listeners, Olivia's most relaxers have officially kicked in.
God. A vision board for your enema.
Olivia, I can't wait until you listen back to this.
I
and
know.
are like,
I'm actually quite normal. This is just me.
Now that is true.
Yeah,
You're just a little more like everyone can see you now, as opposed to
everyone.
just those of us that love you so much. You know.
She's
All
a
right.
little punchy. She's a little punchy.
I love it.
She's
I
a little
love it.
punchy. Jen, with some of the additional theories about potential, I guess there's not. Was there anything said with the with regard to it being accidental? Because again, also reading a little bit about her medical history, there is. I think maybe this is a speculation versus do we know this for sure, or is this a speculation? She had another accidental, non-lethal, but accidental overdose a while before this.
Yes, that's true.
And if so, what were the circumstances of that? Like, was it all similar? Was it from the same stuff? Was it just sort of
know.
known she had some sort of incident? And
Is it known that it was accidental, or was it an attempt that failed? Do we know that?
I mean, they said
think
it was accidental.
I think I read that it happened specifically during the filming of Some Like It Hot.
Yes.
And it was accidental. And she had said, like, oh my gosh, like, you know, obviously didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
And that she was extremely stressed out. She was going through a really hard time during the filming of that. And so this was accidental. And that she had then subsequently, survived, but then asked the director and the production for a break, was like, hey, I'm obviously not doing so hot.
Right.
I need a break. And they said, no, filming must continue.
Must go on.
Press on. But that was part of it. But she herself was sort of like, hey, I'm not okay. Like, didn't mean to do this, but I'm obviously like, I'm in crisis here. Like, can I have a minute?
I don't have it written down when that happened or how. I would assume it was the same drugs because she's on them. But yes, that did happen.
Okay, so that is confirmed. That's not just okay.
Yeah. All right. Theory 3, delayed response. So one of the most debated aspects of the case involves timing. Eunice Murray, the housekeeper / nurse, changed aspects of her story multiple times over the years. The timing shifts. The sequence of phone calls shifted. So who called when and who she called and what time and descriptions of when concern began and how long it took to contact authorities shifted. So sometimes it was 10 o'clock and her door was locked and she didn't normally lock her door, but she was talking to somebody, and then it was 3 a.m. and then it was 7. So like it just jumped around a lot.
That's a big That's a big discrepancy.
Big
Right.
inconsistency. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
one
those
thing if
are
it was
not,
like,
those are
oh,
not
was
the
it-
actual times, but reading it,
Sure.
they were
Right.
they were big. They weren't half-hour gaps. They were
Yeah, it's like,
big.
was it 9:30 or 10 o'clock? I'm not really sure.
No.
But versus it's like 7 p.m. versus 10 p.m. versus 3
4
a.m.
Yeah,
Those are-
exactly.
That is a big,
Yes.
and it matters too for, and I'm sure from an autopsy standpoint, they can roughly estimate
Yes, and I have
time
that
of death a
somewhere.
little bit better. But at the same time, when did you know that something was wrong, and when were other people involved or not? That matters.
Right. Based on the advanced state of rigor mortis at the time her body was discovered, it's estimated that she died between 8:30 and 10:30
p.m.
Oh.
Yes.
Wait.
So, like that phone call that happened at 7:30 with Peter Lawford.
Yeah.
Lawford, yeah.
So yeah.
So
Yeah.
she was potentially dead for 7 or 8 hours
Before
by
anybody-
the time she was discovered.
What time did Joe call again, though? Didn't he call around 9? DiMaggio?
That's what. Yeah. It was. Well, it says
So-
between 8:30 and 10:30. So.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is like if he called 9:30 and she was awake, she must have died right after that phone call.
But she was. But he says she was fine.
Totally cognizant and not.
There also would be a time difference because she was in LA and he was on the other coast.
But it would have
but-
been 8:30 her time.
Yes,
I would imagine
but
that's
I'm
what
just
they
saying,
reported,
like
yeah.
sometimes people might be like, "Well, yeah, 10:30," but not thinking about the time difference,
7:30.
right? You know,
Yeah.
so time inconsistencies were a
Yeah.
big thing. So these inconsistencies with Eunice's story really matter because they kind of sit in the center of almost every major unanswered question. When was Marilyn actually discovered? Who knew she was in trouble? How much time passed before police were officially notified? So, for researchers who suspect a cover-up, Murray's evolving statements become evidence that the official timeline had been adjusted. For skeptics, they reflect something that a frightened witness was struggling to recount
Sure.
this huge night in Hollywood history, right? And I'm sure she cared about her, obviously, too. So
Yeah.
there's trauma. In general.
None of us have ever been living in the same household with a global icon who died
Correct.
suddenly.
Right.
We
don't know what it's like.
We don't.
So, questions still remain about how exactly when Monroe was discovered and when the authorities were contacted. So,
Sure.
going back to Donald Wolfe's book for a second, one of the most fascinating witnesses in that book is an ambulance attendant, James Hall.
Really? James.
James claimed Marilyn Monroe was still alive when an ambulance arrived and that she died during transport. So if that's true,
Wow.
it would dramatically change the accepted timeline of her final hours. But that account still remains kind of very disputed.
I'll just push back on that slightly because from an autopsy standpoint, unless the whole thing is so corrupted that that's just like,
Right.
Tooth fairy
Can't trust anything. Yeah.
wish. But the way rigor works post death, like they know if the body has been like if rigor is complete, if it's over, or what state you're in. And it's also it takes a long time. Like it's not like it's like you're in rigor for 5 minutes and then it's over. But they can also tell if you're post rigor. So if she was still alive and they got her to the morgue and then was like died in transport, that is very different from someone who has been dead for basically 14 hours and has already been through rigor. Also, based on the photos I saw, then what is this discoloration of the blood
pooling.
settling in her face?
Sure.
That feels like that doesn't
Well,
align for me on the
and let me-
timing.
Well, and there, she was. Yes. So there is a theory. There are a couple theories. There is a theory that she was alive when they arrived and then she died like while they were still there.
Okay.
There's another theory, and that's why she's in the bed and blah, blah,
Okay.
blah. There's
Okay.
another theory that she died in transport and then they took her back.
back to the house?
Yeah, and put her, and that's where everybody found her, and staged that scene.
Why would they do that?
A cover
I
up.
have heard that one.
Yeah,
That feels like a lot.
it does feel like a lot.
Feels like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Feels like a lot of work. Just especially if ultimately you're gonna go with a suicide. Like, who cares? Like, who cares? Like, why take her back? Why not just be like, oh yeah, we came and we responded to the call and she didn't make it. Like, done. Like,
yeah.
It feels like not enough. The juice isn't worth the squeeze on that one.
Sure.
Like, if you're going with, if it's a conspiracy and we're taking her back, and it's like, well, if the end goal is to say, she killed herself, then what? Why does that matter? Why does
I don't know, unless it was like they wanted to, have a bottle of pills right next to her, or it had to align with the story of the phone call. I don't know. But
scratcher.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to go into our fourth theory, which is a Hollywood narrative control, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Because the mob ruled Hollywood at this time, as we know. Some researchers believe this THC. Hold on.
Speaking of controlled substances.
I'm a little high. No. Hey, it's okay. I'm in Florida. It's fine. You can buy them at the liquor store. Some researchers believe the primary concern after Monroe's death was not covering up a murder, but managing a scandal. Marilyn Monroe was one of the biggest stars in the world. 20th Century Fox had financial interests in her. Political figures had reputational concerns. The media needed a coherent narrative quickly, because otherwise it's going to go off the rails, right?
What happened?
They're going to speculate. What happened here, So probable suicide provided that narrative quickly.
Well, and they, I think, also had some, unfortunately, ample fodder with her real struggles that were well documented ahead of this, especially in the previous several years, where it's not like this is Doris Day and everything is like rosy and great and fine.
Yeah.
And then like Doris Day turns up like unalived and you're like, oh shoot, like, so off brand. But you have a woman who is, we'll say already struggling, to volatile, and was sort of known to be heavily medicated or whatever this is.
Yeah. So that's the theory there. It's not a conspiracy. It's just damage control, which we know Hollywood has done. So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
What are we going to tell the presses?
What are we going to tell the people? Yeah.
Got to make the morning papes. Yeah.
Exactly.
I went Newsies. I don't know why.
I love it. I love it.
Baby
So, of
born
course,
with
it's
3
very
heads.
on brand. So, here's theory number 5. Intelligence agency theory.
What?
So, there are documents that confirm that FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover monitored Marilyn Monroe because of her associations with politically powerful individuals. That is factual. It's also factual that it wasn't just the FBI, it was also the CIA. Both of them had her phones tapped.
J. Edgar Hoover's on everyone else's phone. Why shouldn't he be on mine?
There it is. There it is.
The Clue references are
Tonight.
off.
Like, it's
You just can't keep him down.
Clue and Marilyn. Who knew? She would have been a
Who
great
knew?
Miss Scarlet.
Ooh, she would have.
I mean, I think it was loosely based on her. I will say I didn't have J. Edgar Hoover
There you go.
on our bingo
On your bingo card?
But of course.
I will
he was.
let you all know now, Orson Welles does not figure in.
I was going to say, he just Orson Welled us.
He did. He Orson Welles us.
He had already fucked off to Europe because of the Red Scare, which we
Yeah.
talked about earlier this season.
Yeah.
He was already like, you know what? Screw you
I'm
people.
done.
I'm going to go to
him
I'm
and
going
Charlie
to my-
Chaplin over
Him
there.
and Charlie Chaplin are hanging
I'm
out.
going to my estate. I can't
Yeah.
with you people.
Yep.
Orson Welles did nothing wrong in the death of Marilyn Monroe.
Nothing.
Orson Welles is innocent.
He's
You
innocent.
heard it
So
here
he's innocent of
first.
the Black Dahlia. Don't even go there.
Oh
Just
my
because
god.
he had mannequins in his movie.
But I think from now on in our stories, whenever someone really unexpectedly shows up like that, we're gonna call it he got Orson Welled.
just got Orson Welles. We're gonna have a shirt that says that. Did you just Orson Welles me? Or like,
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles.
So Jen, just to put a finer point on it, the FBI / intelligence agency cover-up theory, this also loops back in with the Kennedys.
It does.
Specifically.
Specifically.
Like, hey, this one of them's the president, the other is the attorney general of the United States, and also the we'll say Robert Kennedy was also like the heir apparent as far as like you also have a grand political future, maybe not the very next president, but certainly
but
like,
soon
like so the whole family I think had obviously was connected to, you know, the FBI and the Secret Service, and would have had the ability to say, hey, we're having an issue, can you assist or whatever, or maybe independently it was in their interest to be like, we've got to protect America, like, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. And you know, they're a very, very powerful family. They still are, you know, the Kennedys were powerful
in spite of themselves, like
yeah
In spite of themselves and the family curse, they seem to keep.
It's like not even Chappaquiddick can keep them down. Like,
right.
Yeah. So there's no like, there's no evidence that links that the intelligence agencies like after.
What evidence would there be? This was before Cash Patel was involved. Like, this was when they actually like kept
knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
The CIA, even more so, like the CIA is one of those like by design, you don't know shit about shit with the CIA. Like the FBI is at least like, hey, we're sort of like coloring in the lines. Like the CIA is like,
here's
we are
briefs.
Literally here to be invisible. Like that is
absolutely. Theory 6, organized crime.
What?
Yeah.
Some fringe theories connect Monroe's death to mob figures.
Yep.
Because they were running Hollywood.
Not that, yeah.
These theories typically intersect with allegations involving the Kennedy family, also knowing organized crime families.
Also the Rat Pack.
Also the Rat Pack. Exactly.
Also Blue Eyes.
Did the Rat Pack do it? Oh, man.
They didn't do it, but they might have
been.
known what was going on.
They might have.
I feel like Frank Sinatra like never personally whacked anybody, but I'm sure the degrees of separation were not
he might have just done a little wink and a sniff.
Yeah.
Like in that general direction, and then boom.
Just clinked his like ice in his glass while he was singing. And that meant, that
like,
was 3. Let's go.
We got another one.
You know?
Yeah, don't love that. Well, and also again, like Peter Lawford, like going back to him again. This is a hop, skip, and a jump away from some nefarious underworld alliances, if you will.
Yeah. Yep, sure is. So, theory 7 is the stage scene theory. We've talked about this a lot, and the most interesting thing when you really look at the crime scene photographs. Everyone, you don't have to. Ashley and I have done that. But
we did, so you don't have to.
We did, so you don't have to. The pill bottles. So here's where we're going to get into why Jack Clemmons said that it looked orderly, even though when you look at it, it doesn't really, other than the pill bottles are like upright and in a row. So why did he say that? Part of it may have been that the overall impression from the room gave him in the moment was wrong. It didn't feel right. Not necessarily that every object was lined up neatly and that everything was put away, but the emotional atmosphere of the scene felt controlled. So it's also important to remember that many of Clemmons's comments came years later after decades of public controversy and real telling, because maybe he's just like, well, think about that, But that's kind of one of the things about Marilyn's case is that over time, observations become interpretations become legend, and eventually it becomes really difficult to separate what people saw from what they later came to believe that they saw.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and, we've talked about this with other unsolved cases or other cases that are complicated, like completely different, but like something like the JonBenet Ramsey case has come to mind a lot for whatever reason, because we have all these pieces that it's like, this could be something and this could be nothing. Like, just some of these details, there's so much there that can then branch off into these various like conspiracy theories or speculations. And at the same time, it's like, something like the pill bottle detail, Jen.
Yeah.
That really could be something, and that could potentially be significant, or that could just be how they were sitting, and that's how they were, and that happened organically, and there's no there.
Right, and it's when there are so many of these together, that's why it's like,
yeah, but and you don't know which ones are valid and which ones are organic or incidental. So you sort of have to just look at all of it, because we don't know. We don't have a clear answer, and we don't know what details are significant and which aren't, and maybe which even happened in what order, and if that makes them significant.
Right. Absolutely. So that's kind of the end of our theories there. If anyone has a theory that they'd like to throw, do we have more alien theories?
Aliens.
Okay. Great. And the reason she was laying like that is because that's how they, beam you up and down, right? Like, right.
And naked. See?
Right.
Probes.
Olivia, I'm frankly slightly disappointed. You have not floated the theory, but I will for you. Speaking of the CIA, that Marilyn Monroe was in fact an assassin. Norma Jean Baker.
An
3
operative.
names. I'm just saying, was she an operative? And we had to take her out. I'm really disappointed that you did not raise this.
Norma Jean.
That's right.
Theory.
It's the 3 names.
It's the 3 names.
Yeah.
The 3
You know what?
government
It's the muscle
operative.
relaxers. You're,
I missed it. I totally
you missed
missed
it. You're a little off your game. It's okay.
That's what it is.
If we're going to float an insane conspiracy theory,
Norma Jean Baker.
Lee Harvey Oswald, I don't know. I'm just saying. Kennedy affiliation?
She maybe
Oh,
it's like,
here it goes.
Okay, so
Okay,
maybe
okay.
she's actually a Russian asset, okay? Who was
Like a sleeper agent?
implanted- Yes, a sleeper agent who was implanted in Hollywood.
They didn't mean for her to become the most famous woman in the world.
Right.
Whoopsie. Like,
No, they did.
Fell in
Because they wanted her to get close to the Kennedys. See, and because there is, the Russian mafia, and then there's branches of the Russian mafia here. So they wanted her to get close to the Kennedys and assassinate JFK. However, she fell in love with him, and then
Couldn't go through with it.
she couldn't go through with
Couldn't
it.
do it. They had to bring in Lee.
She was like, no, I can't do it. I love him. I'm not only can I not do it, I'm going to tell the world that I'm a Russian asset. And they were like, "Niet." They couldn't let it happen.
Niet. Okay. Listen. We're going to write this book. We're going to research it.
Olivia,
We're going to write it.
What you have
That's
just
the theory.
described.
So here we go.
Wow.
Act 4, why the case endures.
Why indeed?
Why indeed? Why are people still obsessed with Marilyn Monroe's death? Not just her, but her death, right?
Sure.
Part of it's because it's mysterious. It is. Things don't line up. But
there's a lot of other mysterious things, like
there
William
are
Desmond Taylor
that
doesn't
we don't
have this
talk
level
about.
of
I
because
think
you know
it's
why?
the-
He wasn't hot.
Yeah, I was
Well,
going to say, I think it's the ongoing sex appeal. She
It
was
is.
the sex symbol.
I think it's actually deeper than that. Was like a walking contradiction, right? She was adored and objectified, powerful and vulnerable, visible and deeply lonely. She had those paradox, right? So,
Yes.
and I think culturally we're fascinated by women who become symbols larger than themselves.
Ooh.
You know?
Well, and I think from a also culturally, it was this ideal of a beautiful woman who seemingly leaned in to her sexuality and sex appeal, and also was never threatening to men.
Yeah.
Like, never. In her, I'm not saying in her real life, in her screen persona,
Yes.
in the roles she played on screen, she never played a character who was like, oh, I'm gonna push back, in any way that was like emasculating. So you were also this like ideal of sort of we'll say like the perfect woman, like you're childlike but also sexy, and you're kind of like breathy and just like helpless, and then the man can swing in and save you, and
But I think also we're obsessed with women whose public image is disconnected from their private pain.
Yeah.
Because she was in a lot of pain, a lot of stuff going on, but she was perfect to the world.
She's only 36 years old. She's, still actively working on movies, and, despite sort of being, I don't know how public it was that, there was
some stuff going on.
Trouble.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's you are still the most famous woman in the world at this point. You're at the height of your powers. You're still young. You're still gorgeous. You're still, desired and in demand as a working actress. And so the narrative, especially at that time, was this person who had it all as a woman, or at least had, what more could you possibly want? You are the pinnacle of beauty and desirability and fame, and you killed yourself. That, I think, and especially in an era, the 60s, when we certainly did not have the vocabulary to talk about suicide and mental health. It was we don't talk about that. So to have such a public, almost like you are forcing the discussion of, well, what happened to her? She didn't die of the flu.
Right.
What happened here? And I think the taboo and the horror of that alone, I think, also really helped percolate some of the ongoing dialogue about someone who seemingly, had this incredible life, would choose to end their life, which I think we now have talked about. Maybe that wasn't the case. Maybe it was murder. Maybe it was an accident. But at the same time, just the initial headlines, because all the headlines in the papers are Marilyn kills herself. Marilyn dies by suicide. The immediate narrative was this was suicide. Absolutely plain and simple.
Because all the pills were gone.
Right. They're she was found with the pills in the bed and she killed herself, So yep, that's it. That's exactly what happened. So that, I think, dialogue was just as shocking as what had actually happened, and was maybe even more shocking than something straightforward like a murder or a stranger danger crime. It was she was found shot.
She's Marilyn Monroe. People are watching her.
Right. If she had a crazed stalker. I think that would have been less shocking than suicide for someone in her position.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to give you a little sidebar here because it just reminded me of this. Yesterday, Mount Sinai launched the Marilyn Monroe mental health for the arts program.
They did.
Oh, wow.
That is specifically for people in the arts, because we have different mental health issues.
We have a lot of problems.
Rejection every day.
Challenges.
We have unique challenges, and they just launched that yesterday. So I think that's lovely and important.
A lovely tribute, Mount Sinai, and necessary resource.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's also something to be said, just thinking about why are we still so obsessed with this? She she died when she was at her peak sexiness. And so she's not aging, and there's something strangely.
She's stayed.
Yeah. There's something.
Not unlike Princess Diana, Olivia.
Right.
Yes.
And it's
you have a young person who, you'll never see them age. You'll never see them.
They'll always be that ideal for you.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll never see them be.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's
James
a really
Dean
good point.
too. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
These
James
people
Dean made all 3 films.
3 films. Yeah.
And he's
3.
still. People wear T-shirts with his image on a motorcycle, the rebel without a cause.
Of an unfinished story.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I and to your point, Olivia, they both died before they could sort of, fade from view or become, mortal, like an aging person.
Right. Right. She was never really human to people.
Yeah.
It's because of the aliens.
Yeah. Right. Right. All of Hollywood is lizard people.
Probably.
You're a symbol.
You're a symbol.
But
Yeah.
Full of contradiction. She was powerful, but also controlled. She was admired and misunderstood. She was completely surrounded and completely lonely. And maybe that's why her death feels kind of unresolved to all of us, because the uncertainty surrounding her death mirrors the uncertainty surrounding her life. People thought they knew Marilyn Monroe, but the closer you look, the more elusive she becomes. In 1982, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office completed a 30-month review into the claims of her murder. And I know I mentioned that before, but 30 months is a long time.
Major.
And they found no conclusive evidence of homicide. And the case was not reopened because they were petitioning for it to be reopened.
Yeah, if there's
at this time.
anything
Yeah.
to unpack.
So after decades of theory, speculation, books, documentaries, investigations, there's still no definitive answer because it's still probable suicide.
Wow.
Probable suicide. Like it's not so, and it says no conclusive evidence of homicide. But as we talked about before, when you put all these little things together, like, so
on their own, it's like, that's nothing. But then put it all together.
So there's still no definitive answer because that certificate does not say suicide. It's probable suicide.
Probable.
And I think that word's important.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Ooh. And I think that, like, this is my little ode to Maryland here, that maybe the real mystery is not about how she died, but the real mystery is how someone could become one of the most recognizable people in history while still spending so much of her life trying to be understood. Because before she was Marilyn Monroe, she was Norma Jean. And maybe that's the person worth remembering the most. Just a girl wanting to be loved.
Aww.
I know, our sweet little Marilyn. So that's the end.
Excellent job, Jen.
Hey. So much stuff.
That's
so
a lot.
much.
Yeah.
I'm all in the feels.
I know.
Like,
I know. I am too. I'm really in the feels. I have been for a while with this lady because I've been reading that book. But
yeah. Well,
so
unfortunately, we didn't solve this one.
We didn't.
Much like all the other ones we haven't solved.
We keep trying. I'm still out at the Kennedys, though. I allegedly, but I think my opinion is that they had something to do with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just an opinion, though. Doesn't mean anything.
At least they ditched the Mid-Atlantic accent.
Right? Do you think they all had to practice that?
It's learned. It's a learned accent. That is what that accent is, because it's that like finishing school.
Listen.
Like the 1%, like, and it was very much a signature of like, oh, you are part of this privileged
highbrow.
class. Coming up, we're at the conclusion of our season here, but I know our order may have shifted slightly, but we do have, not to be forgotten, the second annual Floozy Awards. We'll have to begin composing our ballots. And much like the Academy Awards, maybe there are special categories that get added on. Maybe, box office achievement. I don't know. Like, do we...
Casting, like, what do we do?
What do we need to add? What do we repeat? The Floozy of the Year, obviously, being the major award. It's
the major award. It's a major award.
Quote, we'll be adding in the I'm going to eat an emotional support Triscuit. I think that one was really good.
That category, honestly, is pretty stacked this year because emotional support Triscuit is trending at the moment. But my two favorites, personally, that have really stood the test of time based on, like, as we've established, I'll write some of them down on Post-its.
Yes.
And I'll leave them around and sort of see what sticks. But my personal favorite two are Jen Bonner. What a bitch.
That's going to be on merch. That's my favorite too, honestly.
And possibly my personal favorite, so I'll try not to sway the voting, but the blimps all crashed. We're starting a boy band.
That one is a fantastic one.
Very strong. Very strong category this year. A lot of, it's going to be tough.
A lot of
quotes. It's going to be tough.
Yep.
So, tune in for the second annual Floozy Awards, in which we will unpack our season recap and all of our categories, and then we will, of course, announce who are the winners.
Who are the winners, and who is the Floozy of the Year?
Who is the Floozy of the Year?
You know,
tough competition, as always.
I know.
Yep.
All right, ladies.
Until next time.
Until next time.
And scene.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Wicked Stage Pod. Follow us on Instagram and check out our Patreon for more exclusive content.
These deliciously wicked episodes drop every other Friday, so make sure you subscribe or follow and don't get left waiting in the wings.